With the Webb telescope up in the cosmos sending new data almost every other day, it's almost as if the scientists have found a treasure trove of sorts. Honestly, they just can't have enough. And it's valid because the rate at which Webb is discovering new things has left the world in shock. Many of these new discoveries include galaxies. In this video, we'll be telling you all about the newly discovered galaxies and how they're actually pretty close. So let's get started with the Webb telescope and its new galaxies. Ever since the picture of the James Webb Telescope were first revealed, the entire world was left in shock. Of course, we're not talking about the small group of people who believe that space exists. Anyways, the picture showed millions of galaxies dotting the scenery with jaw-dropping beauty. With such excitement buzzing in the world of science, experts are literally pouncing on this data and diving headfirst into analyzing the recent findings. And as we advance even one step, it seems that the telescope is getting closer and closer to discovering the beginning. Yep, we're talking about the Big Bang, which is what most scientists believe was the start of the universe. But for all we know, Webb could soon find data that might heavily contradict this theory. It's happened before, and it could happen again. Don't you think this is an exciting time to be alive? Let's take a look at some of the recently discovered galaxies. Well, we're no experts, but here are some that we thought were worth noticing. And as we move along with the galaxies, you'd notice that the distance between the Big Bang keeps on getting less. First off, it seems as though the cosmos are also fans of gymnastics. Webb, by far, is definitely one of the most amazing things NASA has created ever. Honestly, with the amount of different and, in some cases, crazy galaxies we've seen introduced up till now, it seems as though we've started a galaxy advent calendar. The telescope's most recent discovery includes a wheel-shaped galaxy, which the astronomers have appropriately named Cartwheel. Now, this structure for galaxies has never been seen before, so let's get into some details. It seems that Cartwheel has a huge black hole in its center, which is surrounded by young star clusters. These clusters are then surrounded by individual stars that are present in the star-forming regions. The stars make up two separate rings, thus making the shape of a cartwheel. Cartwheel was discovered in the Sculptor constellation and is located about a cool 500 million light-years away from us. Even though its structure is pretty unique and hasn't been seen before, scientists still will be categorizing it as a ring galaxy, just like our very own Milky Way galaxy. But it's not like we weren't totally aware of its existence. Previous records have proved that pictures of this galaxy were in fact taken by the Hubble telescope, but most of its parts were hidden by darkness. With its advanced technology, the Webb telescope was able to uncover new insights and give us a better explanation as to what it is. Next, Webb reveals the galaxy made 300 million years after the Big Bang. With its ultra-powerful components, Webb continues to amaze us. In a matter of just a few weeks, the telescope has put in front of us numerous oldest galaxies to have ever been discovered by humans. Scientists are having a field day with the huge amount of new data, and it's so cool to know that it's actually amounting to something. Just recently, two different teams of scientists reached the same conclusion as to what seems to be the oldest galaxy that humans have ever set eyes upon. That's right, this red orb-like galaxy was apparently formed only 300 million years after the Big Bang. Calculations made by experts show that this was 13.5 billion years ago. It seems that this is the closest we've ever gotten to the actual starting of the universe. Isn't that exciting? With the discovery of this galaxy, humans are one step closer to uncovering the history of the universe. Data from Glass Z13 has indicated that stars might have formed more quickly at the beginning of the universe. The old light of this bright red circular galaxy carries within itself many secrets of the universe, which can help scientists uncover its makeup. As much as we'd like to know more about this, scientists are still waiting for their research to be peer-reviewed. Seems like we'll have to wait. Next, we have a bar galaxy. The names for these galaxies just seem to get more creative, don't you think? And honestly, we're really thankful for that, as the alternatives are pretty technical and definitely harder to remember. In this case, the name of a recently discovered galaxy is NGC 7496. Yikes. But hey, let's forget that and focus more on the galaxy itself. It's been discovered that this galaxy sits comfortably about 24 million light-years away from us in the Grus constellation. Now, you might be wondering why it's called a bar galaxy. Well, even though the pictures of the galaxy show what appear to be spiral arms around the galaxy, it has a pretty prominent bar-like shape running through its middle. Apparently, this structure isn't that uncommon. In fact, some scientists believe that our very own galaxy might just have a bar running through its middle. Now, all these new discoveries have our minds running wide with all the possibilities of galaxies and even worlds existing out there. Many of these galaxies shown by Webb were actually their rediscovered versions, as they had already been identified by the Hubble telescope earlier, but with infrared imaging, we're able to look at them more clearly. 3 cheers for tech advancement in science. That's all we have for the new galaxies discovered by the Webb telescope. We're definitely getting closer to figuring out the entire deal with Big Bang, but turns out that isn't all that's been going on with the telescope. Here's some other news regarding the James Webb telescope. First up, is it chorizo or space? This takes us back to the not-so-good old days when everything seemed to be cake, but this time, the trend has been through a certain spacey twist. exist. Recently, scientist Etienne Klein, who's the director of the Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission in France, shared a photo on Twitter which caused quite the kerfuffle. Klein shared what appeared to be a reddish-orange object surrounded by black. To any novice, it would look like a star, and well, it seems that some professionals were also fooled by this. He wrote that the highly detailed picture was just recently taken by the Webb telescope and that it showed Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the Sun. And as expected, everyone went crazy over the picture. It got more than 19,000 likes and 3,000 retweets. Well, seems like things went a little out of hand. Turns out that this photo didn't show any stars situated 4.2 light years away, but what it did show was a Spanish sausage called chorizo. Well, kudos for him for being so creative, but seems as though people began to get offended over this small prank. So Klein thought that it'd be better if he soon clarified the photo. He mentioned that he had shared the picture for good fun and that it was only for amusement purposes. Next up, let's talk about how records aren't a big deal for the telescope at all. With only weeks of being fully functional, the James Webb Space Telescope has put science in a complete scramble. This basically means that the entire world is close to losing it. Its data collection process is so fast and advanced that the telescope took only a few days to cross the limits set by itself. Yep, that's right. To this date, the telescope has broken and rebroken its own records of discovering galaxies far, far away. Now, you might be wondering what makes the telescope powerful enough to do this? Well, here's the thing. The telescope has the power to time travel. Yes, you heard that right, but this sort of time traveling isn't exactly what you think. The telescope is only able to look back in time, inspecting the rays of light emitted by stars that are millions of light years away. It basically studies whether the light is old or new in order to determine the age and distance of the stars. No other telescope has been able to do this with such accuracy, speed, or detail. So we reckon that you can say James Webb is shooting for the stars we didn't even know existed. Lastly, did you know that Webb actually takes photos in black and white? Okay, this came as a shocker for us too, because remember the first few pictures released by the telescope? It was their colors that held us captive. But in a recent Instagram Live telescope, experts explained how the colors are actually translated from black and white. You see, Webb uses infrared light to study the galaxies and then takes photographs which are manipulated very carefully so that they don't lose any of their authenticity. In simpler words, NASA uses the difference in wavelengths detected by the telescope to create pretty pictures of space. Because, let's be honest, the pictures wouldn't have been as well received if they were just black and white. That's all we have, folks, for the James Webb Telescope and all that's been going on with it. What do you think of the latest discoveries made by the telescope? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for similar content. See you in the next video.